Ever wondered why a dog could cost more than a brand new Ferrari? No, I'm not kidding. We're talking about the Tibetan Mastiff, the majestic lion-like beast from the Himalayas that can fetch prices in the millions. Yes, millions of dollars for a dog. It sounds insane, right? But what if I told you there's a fascinating story of history, status, and market madness behind that price tag? Stick with me, because today we're uncovering the million-dollar truth behind the world's most expensive dog. By the end of this video, you'll understand why someone would choose this furry giant over a roaring supercar. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because you won't want to miss this. Let's travel back in time, way back, to the ancient, rugged landscapes of the Himalayas. For thousands of years, the Tibetan Mastiff wasn't a luxury pet. It was a legendary guardian. Nomadic tribes and monks in Tibet relied on these powerful dogs to protect their livestock and monasteries from some of the most fearsome predators on Earth, like wolves and even snow leopards. These dogs were bred for sheer strength, unwavering courage, and fierce loyalty. They weren't just animals, they were essential members of the community, partners in survival. Their name in Tibetan, Doki, actually translates to tied dog, because they were often chained up during the day, only to be let loose at night to patrol and guard the grounds. Imagine a dog so formidable that its very presence was enough to deter a pack of wolves. That's the legacy we're dealing with here. They were bred in isolation in one of the most extreme environments on the planet, which resulted in a pure, ancient bloodline. This rarity and historical significance are the first pieces of the puzzle in understanding their astronomical price. They are, in a sense, living history. So, how did this ancient guardian of the Himalayas transform into a multi-million-dollar status symbol? The story takes a dramatic turn in the early 21st century, primarily in China. As China's economy boomed, a new class of ultra-rich emerged, and they were looking for ways to display their immense wealth. Forget luxury watches or designer bags. They wanted something unique, something that screamed, "I've made it." And what could be more extravagant than owning a legendary lion-like dog steeped in ancient lore? The Tibetan Mastiff fit the bill perfectly. Its rarity, its imposing appearance, and its historical connection to Tibetan culture made it the ultimate symbol of status and power. Owning one wasn't just about having a pet. It was about owning a piece of living legend. The media went into a frenzy, reporting on every record-breaking sale. One of the most famous cases was a dog named Big Splash, who was reportedly sold in 2011 for a staggering $1.5 million. Another puppy was sold for almost $2 million in 2014. These headlines fueled a speculative bubble. Prices skyrocketed not because of the dog's intrinsic qualities alone, but because of pure market hype. It became a competition among the elite to see who could own the most expensive and impressive specimen. The dog's color also played a huge role. Red Tibetan Mastiffs became particularly sought after, as red is a lucky color in Chinese culture, believed to bring fortune and prosperity. This combination of new money, cultural symbolism, and media frenzy created the perfect storm, catapulting the Tibetan Mastiff from a mountain guardian to a VIP. A very important pet. But like any speculative bubble, the Tibetan Mastiff craze was destined to burst. What goes up must come down, and the fall was as dramatic as the rise. Several factors led to this collapse. First, the market became oversaturated. Unscrupulous breeders, smelling easy money, started crossbreeding Tibetan Mastiffs with other large dogs like St. Bernards and Newfoundlands to create bigger, fluffier, and more lion-like puppies, faster. This diluted the pure bloodlines and flooded the market with mixed-breed dogs being passed off as purebreds. The very rarity that drove the prices up began to disappear. Second, the reality of owning one of these giants set in. A Tibetan Mastiff is not an easy dog to care for. They are massive, powerful, and fiercely independent. They require a huge amount of space, extensive socialization from a young age, and an owner who can handle their dominant personality. They are not apartment dogs. Many of the wealthy buyers who purchased them as status symbols were unprepared for the reality of living with a 150-pound guardian. Stories began to emerge of these dogs being difficult to manage, sometimes showing aggression, which is a natural guarding instinct but not ideal for a casual pet owner. As the novelty wore off and the challenges became apparent, demand plummeted. The status symbol became a burden. Tragically, this led to thousands of Tibetan Mastiffs being abandoned at shelters or, even worse, sent to slaughterhouses when the market crashed. It's a sobering reminder of the dark side of treating living creatures like commodities. The bubble had burst, leaving a trail of broken fortunes and abandoned dogs. So, if the bubble burst, are Tibetan Mastiffs still expensive today? The short answer is yes, but with a big asterisk. You won't see the insane multi-million-dollar headlines anymore. The speculative frenzy is over. However, a purebred Tibetan Mastiff from a reputable breeder with a verifiable pure bloodline is still a very expensive dog. We're talking several thousand to tens of thousands of dollars. Why? Because the original factors that made them valuable still exist, just without the crazy hype. First, true purebreds are still rare. Responsible breeders who focus on health, temperament, and preserving the original lineage are few and far between. They invest a tremendous amount of time, effort, and money into their breeding programs. They conduct health screenings, provide top-notch nutrition, and ensure proper socialization for the puppies. The cost of breeding and raising these giant dogs correctly is substantial. A single litter can be incredibly expensive to manage. Second, their majestic appearance and legendary history still hold a powerful allure. There is still a market for people who appreciate the breed for what it truly is, a magnificent and loyal guardian. They aren't buying it as a temporary status symbol, but as a lifelong companion and protector. So, while you're not likely to trade your Lamborghini for one anymore, a well-bred Tibetan Mastiff remains a luxury, a significant investment for a serious and dedicated owner. The price now reflects its true rarity and the cost of responsible breeding, rather than speculative mania. Now, let's put this into perspective. A supercar like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini is a masterpiece of engineering, a symbol of speed, luxury, and design. It costs a fortune to develop, manufacture, and maintain. Its value is in its performance and its brand prestige. A Tibetan Mastiff, on the other hand, is a masterpiece of evolution and history. Its value isn't in 0 to 60 times, but in its ancient lineage, its unwavering loyalty, and its living, breathing connection to a lost world. When someone paid $1 million for a Tibetan Mastiff, they weren't just buying a dog. They were buying a story. They were buying exclusivity. They were buying a symbol so powerful it was like owning a living, breathing piece of the Forbidden City. A Ferrari, for all its glory, is a machine, one of many produced. But a top-tier Tibetan Mastiff, at the height of the craze, was seen as a one-of-a-kind living treasure. It's a fascinating look into human psychology and what we value. We crave things that are rare, beautiful, and tell a great story. For a brief, wild period in history, the Tibetan Mastiff was the ultimate expression of that desire. It wasn't about which was better, a dog or a car. It was about what made a more powerful statement. And for a while, the answer was a giant, furry dog from the mountains of Tibet. So, what have we learned? The story of the Tibetan Mastiff is a wild ride through history, economics, and human desire. From a fearsome mountain guardian to a multi-million-dollar status symbol and back again, its journey is a cautionary tale about market bubbles and the responsibility we have towards living animals. Today, the Tibetan Mastiff has settled into a more sustainable place. Still a rare and prized breed, but valued by those who understand its true nature, not just its price tag. The $1 million sales are a thing of the past, a fascinating footnote in the history of luxury. But the legend of the lion dog lives on. It reminds us that value is subjective, and that sometimes the most valuable things in life aren't machines or jewels, but the living, loyal companions who stand by our side. What do you think? Could you ever imagine a dog being worth that much? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the most interesting topics on Earth. See you in the next video.